Alright, now look, in this shit, we finna talk about the seen world and the unseen world. No, look. This what I wanted to get into on the start of this shit. Now look. Now for the scene you got two different worlds here we're working with. So you have the external and you have the internal. So it's not just you're not just operating on one world. You operating on many different worlds, but for the smallest part on the smaller scale, you can look at it as it's an internal world and it's an external world. Now look, you can look at this in many different ways. You can look at it as your higher self, your lower self, your internal world, your external world or outer world, the physical world, the unseen world, the earth world, or the spirit world. And a zodiac element, you can look at these two as earth, and you look at the other one as air. Now you need both of these. You need both of these two worlds, cause you need the air and you need the earth. Cause if you got too much air, then and you don't got not a lot of earth. Then when you're trying to do things, you can have the best ideas in the world and shit like that, But if you're not grounded, or any type of way, then you're just gonna be flying off like the wind and shit, and you're not gonna be able to ground your ideas and put them on the earth or into action or shit like that. Now, if you're a person, hold on. All right. Now, if you're a person and you're too earthy and shit like that, and you're always down on the earth and shit like that, you're never really thinking. Then you're a type of person who, yeah, you may have all the physical stuff around you, but you don't have as much air to you. You don't have as much. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, all right, now look though. Now, I'm gonna make this one thing clear in this right now. So the first thing I want to talk about is to access these worlds. This is how your eyes must be. Now you don't have to have them like this. I'm pretty sure, but this is how I do it. Now look, for the first world, that's the seen world. That's the world you're conscious of. That's when your eyes are like this. That's the when your eyes are like this and shit. And your eyes are aware of what's going on, uh. Like that's when your eyes are aware and shit like that. Now the unseen world, that's dealing with your subconscious. Now that's when you're going like this, and you're analyzing and shit like that, and you're thinking, and you're picking up clues and shit like that, and you're putting puzzles and pieces and shit together. Now that's the world when it's dealing with you like this. In the world where you're just on the external, that's when you're like this. This is when you're in the scene world. This is the physical and shit like that. You know what I'm trying to say? Now look though, neither world is good or bad. So don't even come to me with that. Which world is good? Which world is bad? Both of these worlds are good and bad because sometimes you can go too far into the unseen world. Sometimes you can go too far into the seen world. And this is where you got clout chasers and shit like that. People who are always trying to get the most followers and shit. People who trying to get the most money, and you can go too far into the unseen world, and that's where it plays out where you're not even taking care of your body and shit like that. And shit, it gets crazy because you're just so far deep into the subconscious or the spirit world that you're so deep into it that you're not even dealing with physical duties and shit like that you need to be dealing with. That you know what I'm saying? It go crazy, it go deep. Now you gotta have a balance of both. You gotta balance of both too, and you gotta make sure you secure. Cause and that's gonna be another topic I'm gonna talk about too. But about secure and insecure, cause you gotta make sure you secure within yourself too. But that's another topic though. Now look though, my next point I want to make is now in the outer world you see people, places, and things all the time. Now, don't you think don't you think that's going on in a whole different world? Think about it. If you see people, places, and things everywhere all the time, nigga, that's going on in the mental world, a spiritual world, and a whole another world beside it. So you need to understand that things are going on in the unseen world too. And things are going on in the seen world. So you gotta see, so you gotta be consciously aware and you gotta be subconsciously aware of shit too that's going on. Subconscious is more about like seeing the background of shit, seeing how shit is on the background and the back ends of shit. You get what I'm trying to say? And conscious awareness like this and shit. Like have your conscious expanded outwards and subconscious is more in. You know what I'm saying? So it goes like that and shit. Now look, as I was saying though, it's people, places, and things in both of these worlds. Now the people, you already know who the people is in the external world. So I'm gonna just start off by telling you the people who are in the spirit world and the unseen world. These are like good influences, and you got bad influences. You got good spirits, you got bad spirits, and shit like that. And you got good navigational spirits, and you got negative navigational spirits. A negative navigational spirit will keep telling you to go do things and that aren't working or serving you no good, and keep you frustrated and shit like that, so they can take in the negativity that they get from that experience and keep leading you in many different directions and shit like that. That's the negative. That's why you need to be that's why you need to be secure within yourself so you can have your seatbelt. But that's a whole nother video, like I said though. I'm gonna talk about why it's important to be secure and not insecure. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that though. Now look though, it's places within in the unseen world. It's certain places you can go to that access a different realm of reality. It's certain so you're not just viewing. So if you're a person and you go to school, you're not just viewing everything with your two eyes. You're viewing everything with you're in many different realities and shit like that. Cause you got more of a creative outlook and you got different perspectives and shit like that. So you're shifting in many different realities and shit all at once. Like it's wild like that. You're not just in one reality and it's all once, but because you going in through many different realities, all in one. Now look though, it's places and it's things. Now things is a little bit harder to explain because I'm kind of thinking physical, but it's more other things we could talk about that's unseen, and you could talk about telepathically shit like where you're receiving thoughts from other people or some shit like that, or we can talk about mind matters and shit like that. How you able to use mind power the change things around your environment. So we can put this with things. It may not be physical, but it's something that we can call a thing. Now this is shit like you doing things with your mind, and you got powers because you done went within and you done got your powers and shit like that. And now you can see how life is and what it is and what it ain't and shit like that. So you can look at this as things and the benefits that come along with going within. Now I could explain it, but everybody just should just go on the journey with yourself and explain it to me. Damn it, shit, I can't explain it right now. Now, as I was saying though, I'm finna wrap this shit up. But you can look. But I'm gonna say this last point before I do. So the seen world deals with logic and shit like that. Too much logic equals seriousness, and then the unseen world deals with inner knowing and things from the soul and shit like that. So you can look at the seen world as a book. That shit sounded so. I gotta re-say that. So you can look at the seen world as a book, and you can look at the unseen world as the soul, the inner part of the world, the deeper part of the world, and shit like that. And you can look at it like that. So that's pretty much it when we out this bitch.